Okay, we're about to head over to San Francisco for the Multifamily Investor Conference put on by our friend Ferris, who's in Disrupt Equity. And we have Neil Balwa as a keynote speaker. We love him. Pretty excited to meet more syndicators, hopefully more investors, kind of explain how we're going to disrupt the industry ourselves with the secondary marketplace. See who we meet. It'll be a pretty fun event.
Multifamily real estate is a team sport. There's a lot of pieces. We've all partnered together. We've partnered with other people. It's not really the lone wolf type of business. And so it's about adding value in a transaction and moving forward.
PREIshare is here just explain and teach people who we are and let them know a secondary marketplace is one possible. Two, we're inventing it right now, and three, they can access it tomorrow if they want. Ferris Musa, point of Disrupt Equity. I think they have $700+ million of assets under management currently. They want to get to $1 billion, I believe, the end of this year.
So as a passive, your biggest job is to vet a syndicator. Who's going to run the deal? Right?
All of these things are designed by the Securities and Exchange Commission to assist you.
And then Neil Balwa, the mad scientist of multifamily, and he's going to explain a lot of kind of market trends and focus on multifamily, see what he's doing. It should be a very interesting conversation with Neil, an interview, and also his keynote speech should be pretty enlightening to all the new multifamily syndicators out there or ones that are currently in the industry. He should give us a pretty good detail of what to expect as we're in this volatile 2023 market.
Everybody here has a unique ecosystem of people, right? Like I will never have your ecosystem of people, right? You are uniquely positioned with your friends, your coworkers, your culture, all of the above. You never know what doors open, and it's about sharing what you're doing because, again, as you go kind of through your life, a lot of doors start to open themselves. It's not really about bragging, it's about exposing people because that leads to other partnerships, right?
We've been able to be in the room and hear from some really amazing presenters and trainers. They have a unique way of doing this where some of these guys are doing very quick 5-minute presentations, but very impactful information within that. I've been able to meet some great folks while I'm in that room. And then being out here, we've already been able to do a couple of interviews and we're hearing from people from different segments of the market. So the guys that are in the construction space, the attorneys that are involved in this. And one of the big key factors that I'm hearing is you gotta have the right team and you always have to be learning. Educate yourself, get more knowledge. And one of the things that we realize is when we talk about the liquidity factor that PREIshare will create, everybody has said that will change the marketplace.
Right now I'm syndicating multifamily, doing self-storage. My biggest project I'm working on is we're syndicating a deal in Belize. We're building a resort. It's like a $250 million deal in conjunction with 6 sensors.
What do you think it would mean for the marketplace if there was more liquidity for the passive investor, if they could enter and exit deals more easily?
I think that would be definitely a major bonus because I know a lot of people are afraid to park money for 3 to 5 years. You just don't know. Now that things are a little bit more challenged, it's more of a 5-year hold. And if somebody was able to provide that, that would be a game changer, right? Because people wouldn't be afraid to invest if they knew they can get out in 2 or 3 years or 1 year if that opportunity arose where they needed to for whatever life challenges they may have. So this is my second MFIN event, but I knew Ferris and Ben and also Kenny Wolf from doing work with them and other groups. It's the people. I mean, the connections that you make here are lifelong, especially in this space alone. Like everybody seems to want to elevate each other's doing and being. And with real estate, it really is about team sport and trying to gather as many people on your side and learn from them. So the fact that they're bringing in all these great people, speakers like Neil Balwa, and even themselves who are living the space and breathing and growing helps everybody else attain what they need to. So that's really what juices me and makes me want to come here.
And how would it help your business if you knew not only was there a secondary marketplace, but there was a fund that would create instant liquidity for those passive investors if they wanted out?
I think that would be tremendous. I mean, there's nothing offered in that space right now. And if you're able to provide a situation like that, I think a passive investor, like an LP, limited partner, would definitely jump all over that And it would give them the freedom to do what they want, but yet still have the comfort of investing and getting some sort of return on investment, because that's what it's all about.
Some people in today's market, the way that things are going, you're going to be locked into these deals a lot longer to make them work, right? So I think it was Kenny or Ferris speaking earlier today, talking about the 3-year terms are no longer the way it's going to be in the future. It's going to be your 5-year or 10-year holds. And so when you do that, people don't want to lock up their money for that long. So if they can get in and out of deals while it's going on through a fund like you guys have, I think it's incredible. I think it's a great opportunity.
No, I think, I'm happy that you're doing this. The fact that you guys have been doing this for 1.5 years is very impressive. And I wish you guys a lot of luck in what you're doing with the fund. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you. No, that was awesome.
MFIN conference right here in San Francisco, California. We had about 400 investors out here. It's a great day, and we were really looking for an opportunity to, I guess, disrupt the conference market. We felt like there was a gap in the market where we could kind of create an event that was no sales pitch, no gurus, just packed full of content, packed full of networking, and people get blown away.
Because it's difficult, I think, for especially a lot of new passive investors to lock up that money for 7 years. Because in this market, your holds are longer. They're not 2-year holds anymore. But having the liquidity of being able to come out whenever they want to because they just get uncomfortable for whatever reason, or they have an opportunity, or they have a life event happen where they have to pull out. I think that's actually pretty important for a lot of people. By doing it through, I think you guys do it. How you do it that way, that's perfect. For them, it would make them more comfortable.
And I've been asked a lot about, hey, where can I go sell this? And I think they're sometimes thinking of like timeshares, right? That have these places where you can just kind of trade these assets. And there really isn't that. So this would be a very unique product. Investors have come and said, hey, I would like out of this investment. We usually have in our private placements mechanisms by which they can do that. And it's not always guaranteed, because sometimes when we put the capital to work, it's at work right now. It's not liquid. But a firm that could come in and say, hey, look, we'll provide the liquidity, kind of creates liquidity in a time when there may not be.
That's the number one problem in the real estate space. If you look at the Russell 2K index, you look at the S&P 500, and then you just look at private placements, the lack of liquidity in real estate or these kind of real assets are the only thing that stops us from being a real competitor to like the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. An effective trading platform for the secondary sale of what we call securities, right? And real assets would be significant to the economy and also to everyone that's here at this conference.
What do you think it's going to mean for the marketplace if LPs have a marketplace where they can create liquidity for those investments?
I think that we are moving towards a more transparent marketplace. What I like about the stock market is not only incredibly transparent, there's a very low barrier to entry, and there's a very high amount of data about these companies, right? I mean, the amount of research that I can do on a company like Netflix before I invest with them is incredible. And our market's always been this black box. And I think that there's a lot of companies, including PREIshare, this is sort of your mission to clarify what is really happening in that marketplace. And I think that this benchmarking process is really, really beneficial for limited partners. The more we do, the higher quality we'll get and more institutional we'll become. We will then, as general partners, have access to sources of money that we've never had access to. Like, for example, I don't think that a big pension fund wants to invest in me. Why? Because they don't know if I'm any good. How could they? There aren't any methodologies to figure that out. But as an industry, remember Jobs Act 2012, most indicators started in 2014 or later. We're a baby, we're a new industry. And I think what's happening now is the maturing of this industry. It's gone through its first painful phase. Companies like PREIshare are coming in and providing transparency. And this is a good process. It's going to separate the wheat from the chaff. And more importantly, it's going to give us access to the kind of money that we didn't have access to. I think 10 years from now, there's going to be very large pension funds. There's going to be sovereign funds that are going to invest with syndicators. And that is a maturing industry. And I don't see how LPs are not going to benefit from that.
And I like it as an operator too, right? Because that solves the one big issue that I have with commercial real estate is the illiquidity of the whole thing, right? And so when you solve that, now you've essentially taken away all barriers. And I mean, that's why people like, when you list your company on a stock exchange, the value just shoots through the roof because you have the liquidity. Now you can buy and sell shares instantaneously. I think it's a great idea.
We had a lot of speakers that were great, very intelligible. We had a lot of breakout rooms, take people out of the crowd, interview them. We asked a lot about what's good and bad for current syndicators, what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, talking about well, how does the liquidity market being introduced, how will that affect them? Some of them said, fantastic idea, they're excited. Some were like, I didn't know that existed. Some said, what is that? So there's a lot of variations in answers and questions, but overall, made some good connections from interviews that we did, getting to the studio in Salt Lake.
That's your opportunity. Thank you, everyone.